Hey guys, what's going on? Back with another Cold War Zombies video, and as most of you guys know, yesterday we had an update for Season 2. It's called Season 2 Reloaded, and in that update, which I found yesterday, it talks about a little boy that Samantha Maxis used to know, and how he might have died in the Dark Ether, or something happened to him when he traveled into the Dark Ether, and a lot of us think that it might be Eddie. Maybe Eddie fiddled with the Dark Ether and ended up going there and either dying or something happening to him. So it's funny how when Treyarch does stuff, it all ties together, and it might not mean anything at the moment. And we just have to kind of keep an eye on it. And I think that happened because there's a quote with Firebase Z when it came out in February, talking about how fragile the Dark Ether is, that even a child can open a portal or travel to there. And if I can find the right
Cold place body to acquire the
um,
dimensional fragility.
and I think this is it right here. So it talks about how fragile the Dark Ether is, that even a child can open it.
The barrier between realities is so weak even a child could open a portal. The Dark Ether is very useful for disposing of your enemies. That's right.
Okay, so again, that's pretty much it for that clip. But it mentioned that the Dark Ether again is fragile enough that even a child can open a portal. So when I've heard that, when I heard that for the first time a month ago, it made me think of a certain someone, and talking about Eddie again yesterday. So I think it's hinting, and people also have to realize. I know I'm jumping around in different topics, but this is probably my fifth my fifth time trying to record this, so I have to make sure I kind of touch on a lot of different things. So people have to realize when Treyarch does Easter eggs, again, they do stuff that may not make sense right now, but eventually down the road it might start making sense. So having said that, Treyarch takes a lot of inspiration from, and I've said this probably a dozen times in the last couple of years. Treyarch takes inspiration from movies, books, comics, uh, a lot of pop culture, again, movies, even music videos. I've even seen some stuff from music videos. So there's a lot, especially movies and TV shows, comic books, a lot of different things. And I usually just kind of say it's them paying homage to stuff that they grew up watching in pop culture, maybe some of their favorite video games, even favorite movies, video games, books, authors, poets. So there's a lot. So this looks like it's taken inspiration from something. It's all starting to make sense to me. So it looks like it's taking, and if you're familiar with it, it looks like it's taking um, or paying homage or taking parts of the Harry Potter franchise. It looks like it's telling the beginning, or it's similarly telling the beginning of Voldemort, how Voldemort came to be. And so in the Harry Potter film series, if you see towards the bottom, I'm only going over this stuff also briefly, so maybe people could research it on their own if you want to look more in depth and maybe see more connections. So the movies go in order as Philosopher's Stone, which you also have to realize stuff about the chaos theory, how a lot of it got switched back and forth from chaos to dark ether. Well, actually, it was ether, dark ether, chaos, back to dark ether, and now it's looks like it's mixing the two. So the philosopher's oh my gosh, Philosopher's Stone, um, from the Harry Potter story was some of that stuff that was taken in the Chaos story, and so that is that one. There's Chamber of Secrets, Prisoner of Azkaban, Goblet of Fire, Order of the Phoenix, and the Half-Blood Prince. And as you can see, that one's the one that's highlighted that I clicked on, because the Half-Blood Prince was the telling of how Voldemort first came to be. And it's similar to what they're telling us maybe about Eddie, either Eddie or the Shadow Man or Dr. Monty, how Voldemort fiddled around with dark magic, kind of the same thing that Eddie's doing. He's fiddling around with the dark ether. Maybe when you go to the dark ether, it corrupts you, and that's nothing new. That's stuff that we've known for a couple of games now, or a couple of years. That the dark ether and the light ether, the one's good and one's bad. So the Dark Ether might try and change you into an evil person. So that's the same exact story we're kind of going through from the Half-Blood Prince, it looks like. Again, this is just kind of going over a couple of things. And I know in Die Machine we learn about the accursed one, so maybe the accursed one is um, maybe taking hints from Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, which was a newer one, I believe, in 2016, a new book that was made into a Broadway play. So maybe they're kind of hinting with that, maybe intertwining some of the story ideas, and that's more about the Cursed Child. I'm not going to go into what that's about. I'm just going to say pretty much and it's going to be spoilers, that there really isn't a cursed child, or there were multiple cursed child. There wasn't just one. There were multiple cursed children. So that's just kind of what that was about. And again, it just says that it was released in 2016 in London, and it was put on Broadway in a theater, which is funny because being now that we know that Black Ops 3, the Impossible Easter egg, was based around cats, it'll be kind of funny that this is somewhat based around a play also. I guess Treyarch looks at places they think, or put stuff, or take stuff from places they think people would never look. Like, who would think to look at another Broadway play, and that might be what the story of the Dark Ether is all about. I know I'm going over stuff really quickly. Again, I kind of did this a couple times already, but it didn't record properly. Again, the Half-Blood Prince is 2009. That's just one of the books and one of the movies. And now it's kind of out of order, but that's fine. So Tom Riddle is the younger version of Voldemort before he became Voldemort, and he was just a really smart, intelligent person, and just wasn't satisfied being like the smartest person. Then I think he started diving into dark magic, kind of like how Eddie, or maybe the Shadow Man, um, started diving into the dark ether. So that's what it looks like it's paralleling in a way. Again, Voldemort is basically, his name is Thomas Marvolo Riddle, which if you switch around the letters, it spells Lord Voldemort. So that's how they cool little Easter egg that they did during the movie, which was pretty awesome. Um, so it says Tom Marvolo Riddle, which is this guy here, later known as Lord Voldemort. And this is some other stuff that connects pretty well. He was known as You Know Who and He Who Must Not Be Named. And Treyarch does a lot of Easter eggs and hints all throughout the game. So again, his nickname was You Know Who, or He Who Must Not Be Named. So that was probably hinted by Who's Who coming back, which was mixed into Tombstone. So that was probably something they did in, I guess, season 1, maybe season 2. They gave us the Who's Who, probably hinting at, Lord Voldemort and You Know Who, and He Who Must Not Be Named. So that's pretty much how everything kind of ties together for now. And this is just something that I'm kind of trying to keep an eye on, just to see where it goes down the road, if they're going to show us more ideas or stuff. Don't know how it's going to fit into Berlin, so that's the other thing. I had to cross-reference Berlin, and see if there's any Harry Potter connection to Berlin. But again, it looks like it's very similar to maybe Eddie, or this child that Samantha mentions, that is maybe died in the dark ether, or stuck in the dark ether. Maybe he went as a normal person, and then he's gonna get disfigured like Lord Voldemort in the rest of the story. And I hope Treyarch doesn't change anything, because I like figuring this stuff out, but I hope at the same time they don't like switch it, because they don't want, not really spoilers or leaks, they just won't want, maybe, or maybe just to kind of catch people off guard or something like that. But I think this pretty much adds up to me. The cursed child could be like talking about the accursed one, and I think that's the thing in the book. It says that a lot the children from their parents, maybe it's gonna be, maybe since Samantha is older, maybe it's her child or Eddie's child. Maybe it's not Eddie himself, but maybe one of the children, or Takio's child, or Tank Dempsey's child. Um, Maybe Stuhlinger or somebody, maybe from Victus, maybe somebody from Permis or Ultimus, maybe Nikolai had a child that became, turned to the dark side. But it should be interesting, or maybe well, Monty would have been too old. I don't think it would be Max's or Monty, but maybe somebody that had a child that became, might not be one of the actual, like Eddie, might be somebody from Eddie, maybe Eddie's son or something like that. But just something, again, I'll keep an eye on. Right now, it's just like a hypothesis, and I'll have to see if it turns into anything. All right, I'll see you guys later.